Hey folks, Blugoblin here. Thank you for joining me for my comic book review for this week of January 2015. Wow. Hope everybody had a happy new year. Got a lot of books to cover, plus a big return on this particular episode. Got some Marvel, some DC, and I got one from Dynamite in here. Now, I was originally going to include a couple of IDWs, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Ghostbusters, but I'm going to review these on my Blugoblin X channel, so stay tuned for that. We're going to look at DC first, and go through Dynamite, and then finish it off with Marvel. And one thing I got to say about this particular week, it was really tough to find a book that I would consider my pick of the week for this week. I'm not saying these books were bad, it's just that there wasn't really a book this week that just blew me away, just made me go, wow! You know, but these books were really good for what they were worth. I mean, these were really good reads. I mean, some of them kind of relied a little bit on surprise or shock value. Some had some interesting twists. Some had, you know, this and that. But I didn't really feel anything, you know, pick of the week worthy. So I don't think I'm going to do one this week. But that doesn't mean these books were bad. I mean, they were really good. So we're going to start with DC. We're going to start with Detective Comics number 38. This is part 2 of Anarchy. And I gotta say, with how they're doing Anarchy here in the New 52, it's not bad. What Anarchy does in here is really personal. Not just for Batman, but I mean for all of Gotham, quite literally. I'm not going to ruin what he does, but he like gives a gift. What I will say is that he gives gifts to everyone in Gotham, including Bruce and Alfred and everything, and it just paints a picture on how far Anarchy is willing to go to grant Gotham its freedom, as he likes to put it. You know, meanwhile, Batman's doing some undercover work as Matches Malone in here. Plus, we also get some more development for Harvey Bullock and his partner. And the issue ends on a whoa kind of cliffhanger. Yeah, and I've seen cliffhangers done like this before in a Batman comic book, so it doesn't really shock me, but it did surprise me. It was good for what it was. Very nicely done, very nicely written. The artwork was great. I did like the artwork. It fits with the storytelling you get in here. A solid read. I'd give it a 3.5. Moving on to this. Okay, folks, brace yourselves. He's back. You're up. Just can't keep a good guy down, can you? It's been a long time, but I'm finally back. I'm back, baby. Can't get rid of this motherfucker. No, you cannot. I'm here to talk about my book. I'm here to talk about Earth 2, number 30. Now, before I get started, I gotta say something to DC. DC, why do you gotta take my world, Earth 2, and turn it into a cash cow? You were doing just fine with one true representation of our world. My world, Earth 2. You don't need a weekly series to build up Darkseid coming in. You were doing just fine with this. It seems you care more about quantity than quality. And when it comes to quality, all you need is one book, baby, to display our goodness, our Earth 2 goodness, if you will. However, now that I'm back, I can start yapping my motherfucking mouth off about this book. What I'm going to say about Earth 2 number 30 is that this was pretty damn good. Nothing really happens in much of action or forwarding of the story, but what we get in here is the Avatar's attack. In here, we already know who was chosen by the black and who was chosen by the green. But in here, we're shown who was chosen by the white, the red, and the blue. Red, white, and blue. Coincidence? What the fuck ever. But in here, who they chose for the white, that was probably the best part of the book, because there's a connection there, and I likes that shit. The stuff with the red and the blue didn't really interest me that much. But the red was really good. For what it was, I likes it. And I think you like it too. If you don't like it, I'm gonna smack you. But with all seriousness in here, this shit was pretty good. We gotta cool it down with the overexposure and focus more on quality than quantity, DC. This was really good. A solid hit. Very nicely done. Now it's back to you. About time you brought me back, damn fool. Please, don't make me regret bringing him back. Anyway, this book was good, and I agree with him. I don't agree with everything he says, but I'll agree with him on one thing. DC needs to rely more on quality than quantity. I just think... Now, I'm not trying to judge World's End too harshly because I haven't read any of it, but it just seems like it's going to be canceled here soon anyway, so it just I kind of honestly feel like what was the point of it anyway. But this was good. This was really good. Solid read. It wasn't perfect, but it was damn good. Damn good. 3.5. Okay, moving on to Green Lantern number 38. This was really good. Robert Venditti, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce the artist's name because I'm pretty sure I'll butcher it, so I'm not even going to try. But the artwork in here was fantastic. The writing in here was solid, and DC gives us something we rarely, and I mean rarely ever get, and that's a story about a one-and-done story concerning Hal Jordan. I'm not talking about Green Lantern. I'm talking about Highball, Hal Jordan, going to a bar on Earth just to have a drink, sit back, and relax. You know, the Guardians having to decide what to do with Hal after the whole Godhead incident and everything. They have given him a leave, so they're telling him, go home, rest up, you know, do what you got to do before we call you back for our decision and everything. So he's going back to Earth. He wants to just lay back, relax, have a drink, but he's running into Guy Gardner. Remember, Hal made a deal with Guy. The only Green Lantern that's allowed on Sector 2814 is Simon Paz. But because Hal is a buddy, he lets it slide because the Red Lanterns are in charge of Sector 2814 now, and that includes Earth. So Guy and Hal go to a bar, have some drinks, they shoot some pool, and of course there's a big bar fight. Big whoop-de-doo. But what really sells it is the interaction between Hal and Carol. Another one of Hal's buddies makes an appearance in here. I'm not going to spoil who it was because I thought he actually added to the story a little bit more. But the main selling point is Hal and Carol's conversation at the end of the book. Damn good. I liked it. It wasn't over melodramatic, which I liked that. Was the ending a little bit cheesy? Yeah, but for me it works because now these two can finally move on. Minor spoiler there. But I liked how everything was delivered. It's nice to read a Green Lantern book that isn't heavily focused on Green Lantern and the Green Lantern Corps. Because remember, Hal Jordan's a person too. I mean, you know, sometimes he would like to go home and have a drink, sit back and relax. And it was nice for DC to give us a book like this. I thought this was an excellent read. I'd give it a 4. Alright, we're moving on to Dynamite. We're starting off with Red Sonja, Vulture's Circle, number 1. This is the next Red Sonja series after the Gail Simone run. You got Collins and Lieberman on here. This is a new take on Red Sonja. Wow. You want to talk about weird. This was definitely weird. There's like some sort of sacrificial rituals going on in this book. And in here we get to see Red Sonja actually a bit aged in here. She's starting to sport some grays in her trademarked red hair. And we get to... And apparently she has a boyfriend in here, which I kind of disagree with that particular plot point. I don't know if she has a boyfriend or if it was... because remember, Sonja will not lay with a man unless he bests her in a sword fight. So either that rule's been thrown out the window, or this guy that she was in bed with bested her in a sword fight. But, yes, Red Sonja looks a little more aged, but she has now been, I guess she has, like, sort of semi-retired. I don't know what sort of semi means. But I guess she's a little on the retired side, and now she's a teacher, teaches young ladies and young women how to properly fight and everything. This was good. This was good. Is it equal up to Gail Simone's run? I gotta be a little bit biased and say no, but this was good. I'm glad I picked this up. Gail Simone got me on Red Sonja, but I'm sticking with this character. See what other writers can do with her. And with this, I was pleasantly surprised on how good it was. Was it perfect? Hell no. But I liked it. I thought it was good. A decent read, a solid start to a new series, even though I think it's going to be a mini series. So for what it was, I enjoyed it. I give it a 3.5. Moving on to Marvel, starting off with all new X Factor number 19. This is the penultimate issue of the series. Issue 20 will be the last. Fuck you, Marvel. Seriously, fuck you. You're canceling this series. This series has been great. But we gotta cancel this because God knows there ain't enough Avengers crap out there. Yeah, Peter David writing a good story. This is the conclusion to the story that has X Factor trying to retrieve the body of a young girl who was killed, trying to retrieve the body for her parents so they can properly bury her and lay her to rest. But at the cliffhanger of the last issue, she was transformed, and her body was transformed into a giant beast god or something like that. And she's just, this goddess beast, if you will, was just tossing the team members around. But she comes across one particular member of the team, and then all hell breaks loose. And I dare not spoil what else happens in this book. This was really good. And the other people who are dealing with X Factor in here really did their homework with some of the particular members in here, primarily Polaris. But very nicely done with whoa kind of ending to the book. This was solid. This was really good. I'm really going to miss this series. Hopefully, Marvel pull their heads out of their ass, quit shoving their heads up the Avengers' asses, and stick with an X Factor title and see how long they can roll with it. This was good. Really fantastic writing, good artwork, good action, good character development. This was awesome. I give it a 4. I honestly thought it was that good. Moving on to The Amazing Spider-Man number 12. This is part 4 of Spider-Verse. Dan Slott and Giuseppe Camuncoli. Now, I tweeted about this book right after I read it, and I said it was a great read with an interesting cliffhanger. I may have to change my opinion a little bit because that was my initial reaction. Now that it's settled in a little bit, I need to cover a few things. Was this a horrible read? Absolutely not. I thought this was a great read. I thought it was really well handled, really well detailed, really well executed. The artwork from Camuncoli was just fantastic. The writing was solid. It was fluid. The pacing was good. The spiders have got to find a new safe haven to recuperate and properly plan on how to deal with the inheritors. But they learned something about the inheritors in here. Apparently, the inheritors have found a way to keep an eye on them and watch everything they do and hear everything they say. That puts the spiders at a humongous disadvantage in this war. And then we get to the cliffhanger of this issue. First of all, yes, it was interesting. I'll still say that, but now that I think about it, now that I've had time to sit here and let it stew, I can't help but think it's not a great move to make. This cliffhanger, the more I think about it, the more I don't really like it, and here I'll explain why. I'm not gonna spoil what the cliffhanger is, even though I'm pretty sure the internet has probably spoiled the fuck out of it. But I'm not gonna spoil it. What I will say about the cliffhanger is, it was interesting, but I can't help but feel this is yet another that Marvel is going to use this cliffhanger to remind us that Marvel is over obsessed with having Peter remain a humongous man-child who refuses to quit dwelling on the fucking past. Yes, we get it. Sometimes the past can hurt, and when it comes to Peter Parker's past, it can be damn painful. But there comes a time where you gotta say to yourself, yes, it does hurt. Yes, it will forever hurt. But there comes a time when you're gonna have to move on. And then the more I thought about that cliffhanger, the more I felt that way. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, are we seriously going to keep going there over and over again? Peter Parker's supposed to be this poster child of great power and great responsibility, right? Right, Marvel? It's like, how much more are you going to dwell on the fucking past and refuse to move forward? I don't know. But then again, it's just a cliffhanger. We don't know where this is going yet, but at the moment, I don't like it, and I'm hoping that Marvel will go in the right direction with this. I'm really hoping. But for what it was, this was a solid read, and I did enjoy it up until that point, because the more I think about it, and the more I focus on what I saw at the end, the more I just don't like it. But however, for what it was good, and I give it a 3. Moving on to Angela, Asgard's Assassin, number 2. I would certainly understand if this was somebody's pick of the week, because this was awesome. I mean, this was really good. We get to learn more about Angela. We get to learn more about her backstory on her being the daughter of Odin and everything. And we learn about the baby she took was her sister, the child of Odin and Freyja. I can't pronounce the fucking name. But in here we get to see how she met her mother. Wow. And we get to learn more about her and how she grew up on Heaven as an angel. And you know, angels are assassins, they're mercenaries, but they're also dealers. And it's like, if they have something you want, if you give them something of yours in trade, they'll let you relinquish it. And that leads to a pretty cute scene with a little girl and her ball. A ball goes towards Angela, and Angela picks up the ball, and she's like, "Hey, can I have my ball back?" She said, "Well, what are you going to give me?" And the kid's like, "I don't know." And Angela's best friend tells this kid her whole backstory, and that leads up to the kid going, "I promise I'll owe you if you give me the ball back." And she's like, "Deal." That was cute. That was cute. But Angela can really hold her own against Thor and the rest of the Asgardians. But then by the end of the book, we're reaching, a whoa kind of cliffhanger. Nicely done. This was awesome. I'm glad I got on board with this series. This was a great read. Did it absolutely wow me and just make me go, whoa, that was great, this is my pick of the week? Not really. But I still give it a 4 because I thought it was that good. Going on to Spider-Man 2099, number 7. Peter David. Oh, man. This was good. I actually enjoyed this more than I did Amazing Spider-Man. This is the next tie-in to Spider-Verse. We get to see him and Lady Spider, the steampunk Spider Lady, deal with Deimos in here. And we have storytelling here that they think they have Deimos right where they want him so they can study him and everything. But Deimos comes up with a contingency plan that I kind of saw coming. I really honestly did. What he does in here, yeah, I kind of called it. But, it is what it is. But the storytelling and the dialogue in here, God, there was such good storytelling in here. Great action, good, great artwork. But there's a cameo from another character from the 2099 universe. And man, does he make an impact in here. Awesome shit. And wow, and then oh man, what Deimos does at the end, shit. And then the cliffhanger. Miguel and May, I believe Lady Spider is May Parker from the early 30s, the steampunk thing. But they think when they use a teleporter to go somewhere, and then they realize, oh shit, somebody done fucked things up here. So they haven't been caught up on what's going on in the main story. So that could really go somewhere with that. This was really good. I really enjoyed this. This was a great read. I give it a 4. I loved it. You know I had to get this. You know I had to. The Unbeatable Squirrel-Girl #1. You knew this was going to be reviewed. You knew I was going to get this book. My God, this was adorably fun. This was great. Squirrel-Girl, welcome back, baby. This was awesome. This was awesomely fun. This was cute. This was funny. I loved the hell out of this. Squirrel-Girl is deciding to go enroll in college under, the name Doreen Green. And she's singing a song throughout the whole issue. She's singing her rendition of the Spider-Man theme song about herself, the Squirrel-Girl. It's just great. And of all the people to tassel with in the first issue, it's fucking Kraven the Hunter. And how she deals with him just... Oh my God. This is fun. This was pure fun. It's just great. I enjoyed it. I can't quit fucking laughing about it. It was so great. Oh, I gotta clear my mind. Quit thinking about how fun this was. I can't quit fucking laughing. I loved this. Thank you, Marvel, for this. This was great. An easy 4. Moving on to Wolverines #1. I decided to go ahead and say, what the hell, I'll give this a try. Now, I only read the Logan Legacy miniseries that led up to this. I didn't read the Weapon X project, so I'm in kind of unfamiliar territory when it comes to the Weapon X program characters in here. But there was a decent enough exposition to get me familiar with these characters so I could actually read the story without getting confused or lost. So I'll give Marvel points for that. Charles Soule and Nick Bradshaw do a fantastic job getting this weekly series started. Now, I know I've said before that weekly series can tend to get a little expensive, but for this, there was such good build-up to this series with the Logan Legacy series, I decided to go, you know what, sometimes you just gotta say, what the hell, and just go for it. And I'm deciding to give this a try. And this was not a bad start to this series. I'm just wondering what the fuck is up with Sabretooth. He's acting a little bit nicer than I think he should be in here. But I think it's clear to say what it is they're looking for in this first issue. I mean, just look at the fucking cover. I'm not going to spoil who finds this, who finds him. Yeah, I will spoil one thing. Wolverine's body is found. But I'm not going to spoil who finds him. And I'm not going to spoil the cliffhanger at the end. Wow. What a beginning to this. Now, I'm not promising that I'm going to stay loyal to the series since it is weekly. And sometimes weekly series can feel a bit rushed. Countdown. Countdown. And sometimes when a weekly series is rushed, it tends to get sloppy and it'll start to suck. You know? Countdown. Oh, excuse me. But all in all, a great beginning to what could be a good series. I loved this. This was great. I give it a 4. We're ending the review with X-Men #23. We got a new creative team on here, and this is the first part of their run. Not really much to say about this. It's the ladies dealing with geological sickness, I think. That's what I'll call it. There's like massive sinkholes. Krakoa back at the Jean Grey School has fallen ill. Storm has a hallucination about Wolverine in here after being, caved in by a sinkhole somewhere. And we know how she is when she's, because she's claustrophobic. And we know how she can get when she feels pinched in and cornered in. There's only one question I have in my mind is what the fuck happened to Gambit in here? It's like he just disappeared in this issue. It's like maybe they mentioned a line that stated he got away and he's safe and everything like that, but it's like he was trying to flirt with some girls at the beach and all of a sudden this sinkhole happens and he calls Jubilee and then what? Where the fuck did he go? I'm wondering if they forgot to write in something or maybe I missed it. I don't know. But this was good. This was good for what it was. Solid read. I did enjoy it, but I don't know. There was just something a little bit off about it. Look, I know they're trying to give us an X-Men book that focuses more on the ladies and everything, and I get that and I respect that. But here lately, this series has not been impressing me as much as I feel like it should, and I don't know if I'm going to stick with this or not. I mean, they need to pick it up a bit with the writing. That's just my opinion. This was good for what it was, but I felt like it could have been better. I give it a 3. Well, that's all I got for this review, everybody. Please subscribe to this channel, Blugoblin01. Go check out Blugoblin X. That's where I do my Midtown comic stashes. And I don't know when it's going to be up, but stay tuned for the back issue reviews of TMNT Ghostbusters 2 and 3. Give some shout outs to my bro, TheMtVernonKid, Deadpoolzilla, and Brandon Hex. Jennifer and I are still looking for something to do for Arkham Asylum Studio, but like we have said before, there's no set schedule for Arkham Asylum Studio. When we find something to talk about, we'll do it, and we'll get it uploaded as soon as we can. Let's see, look for me on Twitter, at Blugoblin01. That is if all the Twitter bugs have been fixed by now. Look for me on Tumblr. You can look for me on Pinterest. Look for me on Facebook. Enjoy this wherever you're watching it from, whether you're watching me on YouTube, Facebook, or Pinterest, or on Twitter or Tumblr. Tell me what you think. What did you think about my Earth 2 counterpart's miraculous return? Smart ass. But thanks again for watching, everybody, and until next time, I'll see y'all later.